We were actually analyzing the faces of the voters who were watching movies with Obama and Romney.
Actually, they could do it with their smartphone as well. While they were watching Obama and Romney, we recorded their facial expressions, which showed us who they are going to vote for. And this is an example. Here you see Ben looking at Obama and Romney at a video, and you can see on his face who he's going to vote for. What he does with his chin is not good. Then he raises one of his lip corners. It's a sign of contempt, superiority. He's not going to vote for Obama. Then you see him laughing with Romney because Romney makes a joke. But he closes his eyes, and just after that, he raises again one of his lip corners. Again, a feeling of superiority, contempt. He's not going to vote for Romney as well. We're looking for micro-expressions in that video. And your micro-expressions, tiny facial expressions of half a second or shorter, they give away how you feel.
We did research in sales in different companies, and we saw that there's a correlation between sales results and also reading micro-expressions. And salespeople who are actually reading facial expressions, they are also selling more products. For example, selling more BMW cars.
Yes, or more telecommunication units, or more telephones. And the good thing about it is that you can see it and observe it in every culture.
And we just came from today from Japan, and we also observe in Japan and also in the Philippines that micro-expressions are really universal. You can see here on the video the same micro-expression of contempt, but the Japanese person does the micro-expression in a more subtle way. So you see that the Philippine person is really expressing himself. So he's more like a child here. So we can compare Philippine micro-expressions to children. And Japanese are very diplomatic with micro-expressions. Here you also see disgust on the face, but Japanese people have tendency to hide negative emotions with a small smile that you can also see here.
And that's the confirmation, actually, of the thesis of Charles Darwin in 1872.
Actually, there was a research on blind people from birth who couldn't learn micro-expressions from their father and mother, and they were showing micro-expressions in the same way as people that can see. So this is the imprint that we have in our brain. If you imagine that our brain is a projector and our face is a screen, this is how we project emotions on the face.
And what you can see wrong here is a lot of negative facial expressions in one of our coaching clients. Have a look.
I was confronted in the healthcare industry with a lot of new trends.
What you see doing him is raising his lip high up and wrinkles around his nose, you notice as well. And this is a feeling of disgust. And subconsciously...
I was confronted in the healthcare industry with a lot of new trends.
Totally subconscious. But when he became conscious of it, he could change it into this.
The three major advantages for you to work with me.
So this is why it's important for leaders to become conscious of their body language, and they can do it.
And this is also about the mindset and also the role of emotions, because emotions are more important than our rational brain. If you could imagine for a moment that you are in a nice cafe and you are drinking a coffee and looking through the window, you are watching a nice landscape, and suddenly you see an angry dog barking at you, and scary dog on the other side of the window. The rational reaction would be, okay, he's on the other side of the window, so everything is fine. But our emotional brain is stronger, so we are going to jump away. And this is also important in business, in relationships, that our emotions are stronger. Thinking actually leads to conclusions, but emotions lead to actions.
And that's why our emotional and reptile brain controls our micro-expressions. And that's why those tiny movements are the most reliable signs of emotions.
This is my stepfather, my mother, and me, and I learned actually from him how to master negotiations. We were traveling around the world because he had an international company. And I was observing a lot his negotiations. And once my mother wanted to buy a silver pot. We went to an Arabic country. We saw two Arabic people. They were very serious, but my stepfather started with a big smile, proposing the first price. And this is what he saw. Actually, this micro-expression here is a micro-expression of contempt, with one lip corner going up. And this is the micro-expression of superiority. It means that the person is hiding something, feeling superior. And it also means that for him, the price was very good, but not for us. So what my stepfather did, he, with a little bit smaller smile, he gave him a lower price to see the bottom line. And he saw this micro-expression. This is the micro-expression of disgust. So the price was really too low for this man to sell the silver pot.
Actually, it was disguised with a smile slightly, and that's why you couldn't see the disgust so clearly. But if you can read it accurately, you could.
But you can see the wrinkles around the nose, and this is the most important sign. If you imagine that you take a very old cheese from the fridge that was there for 2 months, you will show disgust. So this is what this man was doing here. And my stepfather knew the bottom line and which price was too high. So now, finally, with a small smile, he could say the correct price. And the micro-expression was this one. This is a micro-expression of happiness. So it meant that the price was good for them, the price was good for us. And this is how we negotiated the silver pot. And micro-expressions are like road signs. And they direct us, that we can adjust our conversations to what we see on the nonverbal level. For example, in this case, we saw 3 micro-expressions. The first one was the micro-expression of contempt, and it meant that the price is too high. And the second one was disgust, so the price was too low, but the third one was happiness. It was the correct price.
Actually, Oprah does the same when she's talking to Armstrong. Let's focus on the face of Armstrong and what you can see in his face.
Sophisticated.
Actually, in this brief moment, you see one of his lip corners raising, and it's a feeling of contempt again. So watch out for this facial expression when you're negotiating with clients, because this means that the client will be difficult. So to sum up, successful leaders, what they do, they are able to spot facial expressions, the body language code. They can also empower their own consciousness of their body language code, and they can elicit the body language code in others to change and adapt their arguments. And this helps them actually to become successful leaders.
Not only leaders, also in your relationships.
Thank you.